Purple Daily is daily Vikings entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.
I will ride with this group.
Seriously, man. Please.
And away we go.
Yeah, it's a trenches edition of Purple Daily here.
Football.
10-year NFL veteran, former Vikings offensive lineman, the Rhino, Alex Boone.
What's up, my dude?
We are recording this during Monday Night Football, just a casual Vikings film breakdown while watching two Monday Night Football games at the same time. Inject it into my veins.
Dude, Jamar Chase just got another touchdown. What a night. What a weekend. Your Vikings.
I mean, 3-0. We're going to get to some of the key plays from week 3 here and get your thoughts on a team that you highly doubted just 2 or 3 weeks ago. But first, a shout out to our friends at Nicolay Law, the exclusive personal injury law firm of Purple Daily. So Nicolay Law is here if you get injured, maybe a loved one. You know that ordinary life can come to a stop. Things can get complicated. That's where Russell Nicolay and his team come in with a ton of experience. They are rooted in the communities that we all live in the Twin Cities. They're just your normal everyday folks that happen to have law degrees to help you get the compensation you deserve after an accident. So if you've been injured, get Minnesota's local award-winning injury lawyers. Get Nicolay, 1-855-NICOLAY or nicolaylaw.com. Okay, to what extent are
you ready?
I am done. I'm done. Done paying the bills.
Listen.
Before we dive into the film, to what extent are you believing in this Vikings team as a legitimate team?
I was doubtful of Sam Darnold, and I had every right to be. I mean, I had a lot of time to be like, this is just not it. And then you kind of reminded me of something. You were like, dude, this was like 5 years ago, Jets. And I was like, you're right. If you said Jets from the last 15 years, I'd have to be like, it must have been a shit show. I can't trust anybody in that building. But what I didn't expect was KOC to honestly put his arm around him and be like, listen, it's this simple. And I'm not saying that everything is super cheesy, because there are things that you're like, okay, that could have been a little bit better. But for the most part, for a team that's 3-0, this isn't like we talked earlier on the O-line committee. This isn't like a Seahawks 3-0 to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not looking at this going, I feel like there's holes in this. I'm looking at this going, wow, they really play some complimentary football. They look really good. And at times, their defense was getting after CJ Stroud. What did they finish with, like 5 sacks?
I think it's 3 consecutive games with at least 5 sacks, which doesn't happen very often.
I'm telling you, and we talked about this earlier, and then Jay came on and out of nowhere, in the middle of frickin' nowhere, came on and echoed exactly what I had just said. The mental warfare that you play with this game is sometimes draining on you. And you're like, I just can't mess up. And you know it's going to happen. You're just wondering, when is it going to happen? But offensively, Sam Darnold looks so much more comfortable. And a lot of it, and I can't ever let this go overlooked, is the offensive line. They're doing a really good job of keeping him clean. And I'm not saying he's super, super clean, but I'm saying he's clean enough that he can make great plays. And he's clean enough that on play action, it looks like he's got a big enough pocket to step up, throw, make plays, find JJ, Powell, at times Jalen Naylor. Like, it doesn't matter who it is. It starts up front. And they're doing a great job. And shout out Chris Cooper. You know I love Chris.
I mean, also, you just listed, it's funny, like, finding Brandon Powell, finding Jalen Naylor, and all due respect to those guys, but they're 3-0, 2 wins against 2 of the top 5 or 6 teams in the league going into the season, basically without Jordan Addison, and TJ Hawkinson is one of the top 5 receiving tight ends. So it's a long season. They still have another game in September, but I think you kind of nailed it. I mean, the mental, and by the way, we did talk about this on O-line committee, which you can find Alex, Jeremiah Searles, another former Vikings offensive lineman, and then I just corral you guys and ask dumb questions. But the O-line committee YouTube channel, Apple and Spotify, where you guys do film breakdowns as well. And we're going to start when we pull up the film here, and we'll look at some more Brian Flores defense and how they flustered CJ Stroud, and then we'll look at some of the big hits on the Vikings offensive side. But it's like 3 hours when you listen to CJ Stroud talk after the game, or Brock Purdy last week. It's 3 hours of just trying to figure out, okay, who's up, who's coming, who's not. It's like he Brian Flores makes these teams do a ton of homework at the line of scrimmage 60 times, like the 60 plays that you're running.
Mm-hmm.
And I just like that must take a toll at some point for these linemen and for these quarterbacks.
Absolutely, it does. And not only that, but you see 8 up, and then you're thinking to yourself, well, not all 8 are coming. So who's dropping? Where are they dropping? What holes are going to be available? What zones are not going to be available? Like, there's a big chess game. And I think that Brian kind of hit it on the head. And I noticed it years ago when he would do the all 8 up all the time. And I was thinking a lot like, man, I'm seeing a lot of different guys dropping here and there. And as an offensive lineman, that would start to mess with me a little bit, because not only that, like, there's times where you're told, like, hey, listen, they're bringing more than we can block. So if this guy that you're setting to drops, I need you to continue your kick. Sounds really smart, right? Like, people are like, oh, that sounds easy. It is so hard. It is so hard, Mackey. It is so hard to set your sights on one guy's shoulder pad, like this tiny little spot on his shoulder pad, and be like, I'm going to beat him to this spot as fast as I can. And I'm ready for him to punch me square in the face when I get there. And then the minute you get to this spot, this guy like drops down and sinks back. The first thing that hits your mind is, did I do something wrong? Like, you're just like, what am I doing wrong? And then you're in your mind, you're like, oh my God, I got to keep my kick. And then all of a sudden you see some guy just blow right by you. And you're like, well, throw it. Like, it's really, really hard. And I can't tell you the mental gymnastics you have to go through. And not only that, but you have to let your weakest link on the offensive line know, like, hey, I really need you today. I need you to use the other half of your brain that you haven't used in a while, because this is going to be very important. And if you don't, we're going to give up 5 sacks, and we're going to force 2 interceptions, and we're going to kick a fumble cause. I was like, everything behind us is going to be ugly and bad. And where is it all going to roll and fall? On us. And it's so hard, and it's frustrating, because at times, like the night before games, I would stay awake late and I would be like, do you think he knows? Do you think he knows that if they go to this coverage, they're going to automatically, he probably doesn't know. And you'd be texting your teammate like, hey, don't forget, if you look up and see fence look, guaranteed they're coming through the A's. And like, he'd be like dead asleep, and you'd be like, how can you sleep at a time like this? Like, what?
It's 3:45 in the morning, sir.
It's 4:30 in the morning. What are you talking about? I have been
Sir,
awake.
this is a Wendy's.
Don't forget to bring my Frosty.
I'm your Uber Eats driver. Why are you texting me about AA gap blitzes right now, sir? What's happening?
Never Uber Eats on the road, dude. Never. Oh God, no. Steakhouses.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are. Yeah, I don't think you guys are slumming it when you're traveling around. I'm gonna go full screen here, and I'm gonna run like 7 or 8 key plays from this game. Mm-hmm. And as usual, you talk us through it and point out numbers for me so I can circle the right players when it matters here too. But I've got 2 angles on most of these. Let's start with early in the game here. I think this was like the second play of the game. Mm-hmm. It's C.J. Stroud. He's only thrown 5 interceptions in his career going into this game. He winds up with 2. It's a Jonathan Greenard revenge gaming here. We're going to look at some of that. So I'll roll this, and then we can take a look from the end zone too.
I love it. We start in Big Cali. We end in some sort of an over, which is just always fun. Oof. Oof. Blake Cashman, this guy.
No. Camu Grugier Hill. Grugier Hill. Like, dude, we're going 18 players deep on this defense, because Ivan Pace was out injured, and then Dallas Turner was out.
We talked about it earlier. Could you imagine having to remember what every single person on this team does? Like, hey, last week this guy was the nickel. This week we don't know where he's going to be. He might even be the 3 technique for all we know. You just don't know.
So like you said, we're starting out with double A gap
Cali, right? This is the famous Mike Zimmer, double Cali, Big Cali, double barrel. You used to have a bunch of names. And then all of a sudden we're going to flip into some sort of an over defense, which is a very common defense in a nickel. And at the same time, while everyone thinks we're clean, all of a sudden we're going to have a blitz, right? Like, everything is constantly moving, which what does moving pieces and parts do to the offensive line? It forces you guys to talk a lot. This is a great job that's Harrison Phillips, right? Big 9'7".
Yep. And then Cashman, so Cashman comes in on the blitz here, and then Grugier Hill gets the pick.
No, this is great. And there's nothing more than I hated than a guy. And listen, this is kind of like it's kind of a jab, But there's nothing worse than a guy who doesn't get much of a pass rush, and then he puts his hand up, and this ball comes zinging out hot, and it just goes shooting square up into the air. Like, there is nothing that will piss you off more than that right there. Like, you're just like,
That's
God,
pretty clean, man, right?
that's my whole point. Like, it's a
pocket.
clean pocket, and this dude just put his hand up, and the D linemen, they love it. They love it. They eat this up. They love batting balls down. And it's like, it's almost like you're trying to beat up your little brother for being silly. Like, you're like, stop it. And then all of a sudden, what comes out of it? Something really, really good for them, right? Like this. He's like, there's your little brother. There's your little brother celebrating. Look what I did. Look. Yeah, and dude, I'm telling you right now, there were times when guys would bat balls down that I would go head hunting for them. Like, I was like, okay, you want to play my role? Welcome to this life. And you like try and cut him late or something. Look at him. He's like, I got this.
Oh, he throws the hand up. Let's see.
He better block somebody. I want to see him. Does he block someone?
Celebratory hand up. Here we go. Harrison Phillips, attaboy.
And
then let's get out in front. Oh, but that would have been that might have been a 15-yarder. That would have been like, they call it a crackback.
No, I don't know.
You
dude.
can't go hunting back up the field, right? He thinks twice about it. He's going to murder number 86 here, and then realizes
86 starts to slow down because as soon as he sees Harrison's big hand, he's like, "Oh, is that Dalton Schultz?" He's like, "Nope, want nothing to do with it." The problem is you got a hand on his back. That's the problem, is somebody's blocking him in the back. But it's funny to see the D-line try to become a lineman at times. It is kind of funny.
So not a bad way to start the game. You get the crowd into it. It's loud.
Momentum, baby. Momentum is great. Love TOs early.
And by the way, for the audio audience, this is still going to be valuable for you, and you're going to learn something. If you want at some point to go and flip this on YouTube, the Purple Daily YouTube channel, which, by the way, click that like button, the subscribe button if you haven't already. The visual here is what makes the trend.
Is that Johnny Munt at the top?
Yes.
So this is your one buy, right? Because you have your tight end over the top. So you're basically forcing the defense into a decision. Are you going to put the safety over this one mismatch, or are you going to rock and roll the safeties over towards 18? And listen, I don't pretend to know defense very much, but I got to start to think that maybe more than one guy is needed. This is like a Megatron type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
for JJ, yeah.
Yeah, like, dude, I get that you're looking at Johnny Munt as a mismatch, and at times you're like, I can live with that, because it's like they look like they try to bracket JJ early on. Go back to this. Watch this. It looks like they try to bracket him early, but as soon as he makes this out route, the inside bracket kind of loses him.
So there's JJ, and then
see how low the safety is right there? He's almost on the goal line, and he kind of looks like he's in a little bit of a zone, because you got the linebacker moving out with him. And then all of a sudden right here, see how they kind of try to bracket him right there? They're kind of
two guys right here.
Yeah, you have the linebacker and the safety looking at him like, where's he going? Where's he going? The minute he makes this out route, and now it becomes back into a one-on-one. It's like this linebacker doesn't know where to go. He's like, what do I do? Dude, you stay on him. It's the number one player in the NFL, stupid. You do not
put my hands.
You do not let him make this out route alone.
He starts looking for more work. Well, I guess he sees this crossing route here and thinks he's going to cut that off. But
I mean, sure.
But Darnold extends the play, and
it's a great route. Number one by JJ. He's always has a great ability to get open, and anytime he's one-on-one, it's a mismatch. I don't care who the safety is. I don't care who the corner is. I mean, he is extremely talented, and he's so fun to watch too, because a play like this, right? Like, I didn't really think that there was a lot of pressure here. Maybe I didn't see it from this angle.
Yeah, it felt like just kind of coverage more than pressure.
Well, I feel like at times, like, Sam's becoming smarter. Remember we talked earlier about Skylar Thompson, and I was like, you cannot hold on to the ball for 30 seconds. Like, you just cannot do that. Please tell me you saw that touchdown on Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
Dude, Jaden Daniels just got destroyed. And
we're watching Commanders.
I can watch two things
Bengals
at once.
right
You think
now.
I can't do this? I can do everything. But listen, I didn't think this pocket was very bad, but this is a great job of him going, I've been in here for too long, right? Like, I need to get out. Something's starting to close in on me, and it's a great job by Justin Jefferson getting open. Sam Darnold just like, you know what? I'm just going to wing it out here. Boop. Like,
just super patient.
Easy, right? And
no panic.
I love when the quarterbacks extend plays but don't panic. They just calmly start to run around a little bit, like, I'm going to extend over here. I know where do I my number one player in the country, in the world, he's over here. I'm going to run over here to him. Like, he'll find a way to get open.
I suppose you play with a little bit more calmness, or I think, how did Kevin O'Connell put it a couple years ago in his introductory press conference, with a more quiet mind when, to use the Jets comparison, Sam Darnold walks onto the Jets campus 6 years ago and, all right, who's my number one target? Robbie Anderson? Okay, that could be a problem. And here, Justin Jefferson, take a deep breath. Everything's going to be fine. You'll find him. Let's go back to the Flores defense here so Texans driving inside the 30, trying to put something together here.
We got a little bit of an odd defense going on here. 3 hands down, 2 on the outside. You got to cover 2. Simple. Odd 2. Ooh,
yeah.
Boy.
Simple, except for the fact that the Vikings' best edge rusher, Jonathan Greenard, a revenge game against his former team,
dude, nothing
gets one-on-one with a tight end here.
Them playing your former team, and this dude starts to feel himself some type of way. Oh, so tough. Once again, why are we not sending the big boys to block the big boys? Yeah, this is your true odd front, right? Like, if anything, over here you got this dude that's kind of in this 4-eye, but if I'm coming up to the line, I see double guard bubble. We have a true odd. The minute we motion, the backers should shift just like they do. And we're off to the races, baby. We're talking 3-4 lingo, which is always fun because the minute you switch your lingo, you know that the defense has switched, right?
So are you in this situation, because we see a lot of defensive fronts where the Vikings are putting sometimes 3 or 4 known edge rushers. In this case, you've got 3 down linemen, which is kind of rare so far. But then you've got known edge rusher Van Ginkel, the gangster over here. And then very much known double-digit sack edge rusher Greenard.
Yeah, that's a true 3-4, right? Like, that's what you want. You have 3 bigs in the middle that are basically, and these guys are not so much readers. You might have Harrison Phillips in the more that's a reader, but a reader would have 2 hands in the ground so that when the first thing he can do is kind of catch his balance and see what's going on, they're going to read the play. These guys look like more penetrators, which means they're coming off the ball a little bit.
So you got this is 2 tight ends here for the Texans, right? And I'll roll this in a second, but one thing I remember throughout these trenches episodes is if you have a known badass edge rusher, and I mean, listen, Greenard is not necessarily Myles Garrett or TJ Watt, but he's a double-digit sack guy, and he's good at his craft. That you want your tackle ordinarily to be on top edge rusher guy, right? Or or can you counter with 2 tight ends? It doesn't seem like one. I mean, tell me if I'm wrong, but one tight end on Jonathan Greenard.
Let it play. Let's see how they ID'd this, and we can figure out where we went wrong. But at times, it looks like Laramie's trying to talk to them. Go back. Yeah, see, this is an old school way of how we used to do jet protection. Like, it's not really even jet protection. It's almost kind of like a 358. This would be a 359. We would be in a true R protection. It looks like Laramie's kind of asking him, like, hey, what do you want to do with this guy out here? Do you want me to hold space? Are we all going to hold? Because right here, we're clearly not in a 3 coming to the backside front, right? Like, 44 is not going to blitz off the edge, off past Van Ginkel. So we could start to straighten up our jet protection on this, or more of a 358, because we wouldn't want Greenard to be on the tight end by himself. So, but the problem is the minute that he was going to get any help from this running back and Blake Cashman blitzed, it ate the running back up. So see how technically 76 is putting hands on 99 and going to Harrison Phillips, and then the center's got hands on Harrison Phillips and he's kind of going to 90. So like there are 2 guys blocking 1 there technically. We'd have enough to pick this up. This would be like an alert sin. We used to get really deep in the weeds, and we would call this a sin because anytime you went against the protection call, it was a sin in our world. But you would alert everyone, I might sin this. I might come back. So it would slow everybody down, which you'd be fine to do here.
So but this all gets picked up very nicely.
Correct. Right? I mean, look, we have 5 guys blocking 3. That's why we would sin it, because we would be like, hey, we don't want Blake Cashman on the running back. So the left side is going to slow up. Center will start to collect more. The guard will collect 99. Laramie Tunsil will take Blake Cashman, and then the running back can come out here and help the tight end, because you're right.
Got it.
We never, ever, ever want the tight end to block the guy that can get double-digit sacks. Why? Because they're tight ends. I love you guys. I've been in enough huddles with you. I've taken enough shit for you. I cannot do it anymore. I'm sorry. They suck at blocking. It's what it is. Unless your name is George Kittle, I am never letting you block anyone out there. Like, dude, look at this guy. He is literally in the fetal position screaming, throw it. Greenard is like, I hope you enjoyed letting me walk. Boom, right into your franchise quarterback. Whoops.
Oh my gosh.
The
And then
problem is,
yeah,
like, look, you got
after the
5
game,
guys looking back, going, oh, God, we should have picked that up. I mean, dude, that's a simple psalm right there. We could have easily have picked that up. We could have gotten more help out there. But, dude, it's this defense. You start, even Laramie Tunsil's like, are we really going to leave this guy out here alone?
yeah,
You
guys,
saw him looking.
guys. Yeah, after the game, by the way, a couple Vikings made comments about, I think even Greenard himself was one of them quoted just talking about, hey, you're going to put a tight end on me. I mean, that kind of shows the level of respect that you don't have for me. But
to be fair, these guys don't really look at every player like that. They just look at what's a good protection. See, like, that's a protection that we talked about earlier today. That what's a good protection that would shore all this up, an R or an L. Like, we're going to clearly pick it up, but what is the downside of that? You put some of your best rushers on a tight end or a running back. So it's like, well, yes, you can pick up a ton of blitzes with that. You're going to force a hand over here on one side with one edge rusher taking a tight end or running through a running back's face. Here we go, baby. Look at that.
Play action here.
Little play action. Oop, JJ's wide open. Oh, my God. Look at him. Ford's like, I just want a little bit of help. God. Here we go. We talked about it earlier, man. If you can run the ball well and you can dangle this ball out here and the protection is good, and I love how the tackles aren't even hiding that it's a pro. They're like, yeah, we don't even care.
So you're saying because they're not in 3-point here?
It's not really that important, honestly. Like, if anything, Darrisaw gives it away more because the tight end's to his side, and that's more of an uncommon thing. But at the same time, who is the play action to really bite on?
Linebackers?
The linebackers. Exactly. Like, D linemen are going to be engaged no matter what. You want those 3 guys behind everybody to just freeze. I don't even need you to move. I don't even need you to take a step forward or backwards. I just need you to blink and freeze while everyone goes screaming down the field past you. Like, it's always that 1 inch that you gain on these guys. See how they're out, boop, boop. It's already
still standing still. Yeah.
You're done. You're cooked. Look, everyone's looking, and all of a sudden, Justin Jefferson is just sneaking in behind everybody. Like, once again, I'm gonna ask this question: I was the number 1 player in the world, not have more attention on him. I don't know,
that, man.
I don't know. I'm telling you, dude. There's not a lot of guys can get that wide open, and people are like, "Well, they're keeping everything in front of them." Okay, Donatel, you tell me how long that'll last, right? They're keeping them in front. Okay, until you're San Francisco like and you don't, right? Like, dude, nice I'm telling you, the little things eventually creep up on you, and it's fun to watch because these big explosive plays, they really suck the wind out of people. They suck the wind out of everybody on the other team.
Let's go wide angle here again, just so you can see. So when the ball is snapped, keep an eye on these linebackers. I'm just kind of curious, how long does it take them to move, basically?
I mean,
they're just sort of frozen.
The deepest you have is looks like your Sam is like at the 50. And so think about it. Justin Jefferson gets full speed by the time he gets to the 50, and these guys are just starting to sink back and figure out what's going on. I mean, Sam doesn't even realize Justin Jefferson's 6 yards behind him, running an over route.
And then this is a good design, having Munt kind of his route curls off right here, right?
It's just a nice little pick route. Dude, I'll tell you what, the pick routes lately have been insane in the NFL. Like,
they're calling some, man. The officials
I don't know. Teams are pushing that one that Philly ran the other day. They had 2 dudes completely wipe out. No, that's a great job of Johnny Munt showing up and attracting coverage.
Best 3rd tight end in the world, according to Kevin O'Connell.
Dude, did you see that bullet that they threw to him? Triple covered. He's like, I don't even care. I'm all about a tutty.
He's drawn penalties. It's crazy.
I love it.
Johnny Munt.
I love it.
All right, what do we got here? Let's see.
Once again,
this is the same play. We'll just
same play. Oh,
Oh, some more Brian Flores here.
Here we go. Same thing, right? We're in an odd front. We're washing it down. Honestly, the coverage is another underrated thing. Like, it can't go understated. The coverage this week was phenomenal. This going like something like this is simple. We're just going to blitz a simple saw. Everyone's coming off every edge. We're running everyone down the pipe. He's trying to get through his progression. Same thing. Tight end blocking an outside linebacker / pass rusher.
It's a little, would you call this a little TT here? A little TT twist here?
No, I didn't really say anything.
99?
You could say he fell into it. I wouldn't say that was designed, really.
It wasn't designed.
Not really.
Kind of works his way through here.
Yeah, because they're sliding into it. So you wouldn't really want to twist into it. If anything, you would want Harrison Phillips to go the other way, right? Because you have everybody going right. So go back. Is that 99?
Yeah, is it Tillery?
You'd want, is that Jerry Tillery? You'd want him to go into the left shoulder of the left guard, pick him, and then you would have Harrison Phillips come around the edge, because it would force the tackle to make a decision. Am I going to, if he doesn't get a good punch on him, am I going to leave Tillery to get the sack, or do I come out here to Harrison Phillips who gets it? But it doesn't matter because the tight end's still just getting his ass kicked.
Look at that. And Stroud just no base to throw off of here. Poor Cam Akers, by the way. 2 torn Achilles tendons, trying to come back. 3rd guy on the depth chart. All right, let's keep rocking here. Some more beef. Oh, Greenard again.
Go back, dude.
Greenard
I'm telling
again.
you, you start feeling yourself on a revenge game, it's over. All right, check this out. We're good. We're in the same thing. We're in a nice little over front. We're clearly bringing Harry off the edge. He's awfully tight.
Right
Here
side
we
of
go.
the screen there, Harry. You're talking about Harrison Smith up there. Yep.
Here we go. Right guard. Go back. You're already beat. Go back. He does not get enough depth, right? He ends up kind of going flat on this, which ends up giving Greenard more depth and width, which as a guard, you just can't really, you have to compat. See how he kind of undersets himself right there and realizes he's not deep enough. And so he starts to turn. The most natural thing to do is turn open to try and get a piece of him. But the problem is he kind of hits him with his forearm and doesn't grab him with his hands. So it makes this edge so short. And at the same time, it's so incredibly hard to stop somebody rushing full speed into you when you're trying to basically brace open and just push them around the edge. This is one of the simplest sacks I've seen. Like, he barely does anything. He really just runs through the B gap, and the guard just doesn't get enough depth. And a lot of it could be because it's loud. You saw he was laid off the snap. A lot of it could have been because they were talking. They were trying to communicate. There's a lot of things going on. I mean,
What did you see? I mean, it's all over the place, but the 3 consecutive false starts, and then there was on the next, when they ran the play, they got called for, I think it was Tunsil was.
I was going to say he was too deep. Yeah, that the one? Wasn't it like 3rd and 31?
It was. It was originally 3rd and 4, and then it became 3rd and 19 or something.
Yeah, it was bad, and it was like, dude, what is going? But it's the same thing, right? Like, the minute you get called for a false start in your away stadium, like, everybody on the defense is laughing at you because they're like, "Oh, you're scared," and then you get called for lined up too deep in the backfield. They're like, "No, you're really scared." Like, it never really gets better.
What happens have you ever been in a huddle? It's loud. You used to play for the Niners. You're in Seattle or something. And I would think like the 2nd false start penalty in a row is just an interesting huddle.
Dude,
and then the 3rd one?
We never really got, I don't think we've ever gotten 2 in a row. I mean, dude, you get 1. And like I said earlier, there's a lot of very unhappy people out there. Very unhappy. Like, you just wasted a whole down. Now we're looking at 5 more yards. And dude, I don't know if people know this, but going from like 3rd and 5 to 3rd and 10 is a huge jump. I mean, you're talking about whole
Oh.
different schemes. You're talking about different protections. You've gone from gone protection to more of a 7-man protection. It really you really screw yourself. The slide goes away. It becomes more of a hole call. That was really kind of our motivation to not have a 3rd and 10 was because you were like, listen, if you're going to want help, you're going to need a gone or a slide. And that's more of a 3rd and 5 to 7 type of situation. Anything less, you could possibly run it. Anything more, god damn it, you better brace because it's going to hurt. Like they're blitzing the house and you better think fast.
So this is, I'm just pulling some of these chunk pass plays here. This is Sam Darnold. Nice pocket here, I feel like, but you talk us through this.
Oh, look at this. Hey, this is nothing that you haven't seen, right? Like they're just flipping the defensive ends in and they're moving the defensive tackles out. Okay. We used to call this like a reverse Cali or bigs. There was a lot of names for this, but what it was to do was because it forced everybody into a situation that they're not used to. You force your guards to become tackles and you force your tackles to become guards because obviously guards are not used to as much speed. But then all of a sudden you put your tackles and they're used to setting way off the ball and you're giving these guys plenty of time to get going, and then you get a big guy going and the bull rush becomes terrible. But what they do here is they end up trying to twist everything. So not only are they trying to pull you into a different world, but then they're going to be like, by the way, you're not really blocking me. You're going to block the other guy. It ends up being a double twist, but it's a great job of the tackles punching and getting depth. And the core ends up kind of coming together and solidifying this. This whole thing starts with the tackles. You can't pick this up without the punch. And it's vital. You cannot pick up a twist in the NFL if you do not punch the penetrator. It's just not possible.
You want to let's, because we can look at both these, but let's look at this side here first. So these guys are going to twist. Let's see how Ingram and O'Neal and Bradbury, by the way, handle this.
See how Brian punches him way in there and gets out with depth. It's a great job because as a guard, you're thinking this guy's going to try and get me to move my feet somewhere. He's going to try and get me off the ball, move my feet inside to outside or outside to inside. Like he's going to do something. But then it ends up being this twist where the 3 technique's trying to pull the tackle inside with him right there. He's trying to clamp on his arm. Brian does a good job of sitting down. Would I like him to be a little more extended? For sure. But he does a great job of punching him inside. Like I said, remember, they're pulling him into a different world. Now he's back out on Danielle Hunter. And he's like, okay, now I'm more comfortable with you. Exactly.
Oh, Superman dive by Darisaw here. Let's go look at the other side.
Just gets out enough. Once again, same twist, right? Same twist.
Okay.
Now we have Will Anderson Jr. on this side. Great rusher. Got it. Here we go. Send him in motion. We got a guy running. I'm assuming we're in man now. We do a good job of punching, but see how he kind of turns in here a little bit?
So you're looking at Darisaw,
yeah, I don't want you to face our sideline when you come in. If the square you stay, the more you can keep the width of the pocket, right? Like we saw Brian stayed real square and then kind of opened up as he came out. Right here, I just want you to punch him a little bit more. It's a great job getting him in here, and it's a great job by the guard collecting. Now you come out and you have to be an athlete. He's in great position to get there. The problem is I think he's kind of stuck there for a second because he just sent a huge, large man to the inside, and now he's got to regain his speed. And he does a great job of doing just enough to push him by this pocket. Because right there, you would think this would be a sack all day.
Yeah, he kind of just creates – he makes him go around just enough here. Great athletic Superman dive. And the Darnold dude. Darnold kind of throwing off base here.
It's a great job of him not panicking.
Darnold's a sneaky athlete. Look at this. Great pocket movement. Bam. Nice catch by Powell.
Great catch.
That's just like, that's the type of just slightly off schedule stuff.
Hey, it's not always going to be pretty.
No.
But when you can make it look smooth, by the way, you know what was really smooth? The jerseys.
Old school.
Bro, love the old school look.
Oh, man.
I am all about it.
The classics, man.
Love it.
Yeah, we inducted was Bobby Bryant, legendary Purple People Eaters cornerback.
There you go.
Into the Ring of Honor here. All right, Vikings offense going to work here. Inside the 50.
Is that Ham I see out there?
Little ham bone.
What are we in a little
Oh, you
12?
recognize You recognize this motion right here from last week?
Oh,
Rhino.
we're running a little duo, or is it duo pop pass?
Yeah.
What are we running?
Remember the Naylor touchdown reception inside the red zone
Come
last
on,
week?
now. How could I forget?
Let's run this again. Except in this case, they hand off out of the look instead of a pass.
Tutty all day. Oh, I was so mad he didn't get that.
So is he? Look at him.
I know he's
I think
so
Sherfield. I think Sherfield's wondering, did he get hit in the head at the pylon? Is he
dead?
What's happening? Are you okay, Aaron?
No, this is a great job, and this is obviously how they're trying to stop duo. They're putting 5 up there, and notice how that nose tackle is kind of centered off to the right.
Oh, so yeah, right here.
Yeah, he's forcing this double team that normally would be between the right guard and the right tackle. He's forcing that off and more into a guard and center double team, so that this guy over the 3 technique over the 67's right shoulder at Ingram, if he splits this gap just enough, see how now instead of deucing it last week, now they have to ace it. That's why they move guys on the D line. We're not stupid. We know why they're trying to do it. They're pulling this deuce off because the deuce is so much better than an ace. But at the same time, if we can create Brian O'Neill, like Brian's block on this is crucial. Go back. Out of every single person on this page, Brian's block is the most important, because if he doesn't get this block, this guy splits him and Ed, and he just comes right through here. But Brian does a great job of washing him down. Yeah, Sherfield coming in here does a great job of blocking the safety, and he's like, I'm not letting anything go. Look, he's staring at the tight end. The one behind him staring at Sherfield, and that's really kind of where they screw up. Is the safety comes in here and he's staring at the tight end blocking a guy, which allows the receiver to come in here and block him. But see how when Brian washes all this down, this massive hole opens up, and you got Ham on a what looks like a linebacker, could be a safety. I have no idea. Look at the number.
Yeah,
we just don't know, right? But I know this. I'll
guy.
take Ham over a lot of linebackers. So you give him
well, and then is Ham? Dumb question for you. So if this dude splits between Ingram and O'Neill, it kind of looks to me, again, dumb question, like Ham's first thought is, do I need to pick that dude up? But because O'Neill washes him down, it frees up Ham to go to the second level and really break this thing.
Ham's got nothing to do with that first block. Nothing.
So even if this guy gets through, Ham's going around here.
Pretty much. He's trusting that Brian will block him, because he doesn't know that that's what the defensive front's going to look like, right? Like, honestly, this is a split flow to hold the linebackers, because they see the fullback go one way and the running back go the other way, and they're like, oh my God, which way is the ball going, right? Like, it's just enough to kind of hold him in this hole while you tell everybody front side, hey, we're going to block this as like a mid zone. Right, so we're all blocking mid zone. Ham just squares this dude up, and you tell the running back you have to read this cut. Like, you read this, and they used to call it ride the wave. You want to ride the wave back and find your lane, and there it is right there. And look, 21 has already taken a shitty pursuit angle. I mean, dude, this ball has no business going outside.
This is a beautifully blocked play.
It is, especially because they try to deceive you with that guy in that 3 technique. And
so you're talking about this guy up here, just a wild angle.
I don't know where you're going, but I know that there's nobody on the other side of the field, and now you look even dumber. You know how I feel about making fun of defensive players. I love it. I can't help myself.
And then Bradbury on this. So it looks like we've got like a
it's a great ace. It is
a combo up to this linebacker here.
Yeah, we call that an ace.
Because this dude can, if Bradbury doesn't get to this dude, he can make this tackle and stop this for like a 5-yard gain.
He could the problem is, see how he gets sucked up there and Bradbury gets him? He's got no chance of cutting back. Now, if Bradbury doesn't get on him, then we have problems. And it's a good call, go back, because sometimes in the moment, centers will leave the deuce on and they'll just kind of try and flip the nose tackle across their face real fast. Like, they'll hump them across. But it's a better job of going with an ace and trusting your athletic tackle to be able to wash this down. And a lot of people look at this like, oh, that defensive tackle did a great job. Did he really, though? Because this play's supposed to cut back. So if you're just going to aimlessly run through this gap and I can just wash you down, I mean, who's really winning here? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, especially Aaron Jones, man. Like, he is
a great cut.
He's such an upgrade over what the Vikings were trying to do last year.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. And I think it's this is why you paid him, to bring him in situations like this and be like, hey, need a big play, bud. Let's get it going. And not only that, but the passing game, he caught a touchdown. He's running screens. I mean, there's a lot of things that he does for this team that makes it really fun to watch. Plays like this for me are super exciting because once again, it just shows another team like, hey, we can line up and punch you right in the mouth if we want to.
Oh, inject it, man.
Football.
It's fun.
Hey,
I think it's fun that they have a run game now for the first time in a few years.
And they're going to need it, especially coming up with this next game. I mean, we talked earlier, and we're not sure what they're doing with Jordan Love or Malik Willis. But honestly, week 4, I don't think I've ever been so excited for a game because we talked about it earlier. This division is so strong. And these games, these two teams lining up against each other means so much more than people know, especially earlier in the year, because there's going to be a team that just starts to rise up against everybody. And that's when everyone's going to be like, shit, now we got to go catch them. And it's when you have to backyard brawl it, especially when you play the teams like the Packers, who are really looking good right now. And people can say whatever they want. Like I heard a report today, somebody was like, well, they just beat the Tennessee Titans. And it's like, yeah, well, they get paid too, dude. They got a salary cap and everything. They're all making the same amount of money. Like,
but the irony is they're doing it with a quarterback the Titans decided was like
no
unrosterable 3 weeks ago.
Right.
And he's out there throwing dimes 40 yards down the field, Malik Willis. I mean,
it makes it fun, though. And it makes this divisional football really, really fun, especially when you talk about them and then the Lions. And you're like, man, here I thought that the Vikings were not going to be good because it was like, can Sam Darnold do it? And it's like, I don't know how this NFC North is going to shake, but it is going to be fiercely competitive and a fight to the end.
Who would have thought a few months ago, week 4, Packers Vikings, but it's going to be Sam Darnold versus Malik Willis. How interested is the nation? And it's going to be captivating.
4 weeks ago, I would have been like, you couldn't pay me to watch that. Now I'm like, can we order chicken wings for the game?
It's really excited. Not to take away from Sam Darnold and Malik Willis and some of the, but it really is. It's a LaFleur, O'Connell, and Flores chess match.
Like, listen, we're not taking away from these guys anymore. I mean, they've honestly stepped up the last couple of weeks and shown some really impressive things. But it's one of these things where you're like, how bad were the coaching staffs there that they couldn't figure out what was going on? Like, these are not one of these plays have we shown that we were like, and look, there's 5 wide and all of a sudden there's a motion across. Like, it's like we're in double tight and we're running simple duos. We're in double tight. We're running duo pop pass. We're running a fake. What would we have called Justin Jefferson's play? Like 395 slant post sluggo. Like, we would have been like, everybody just hold your water and hang in there. It's going to be a long one. Like, dude, all of a sudden, simple things are just screwing everybody up. And it's like, I feel like KOC's going in like, are we sure that we're playing an NFL team right now? Because we just watched the best player in the world run by 2 guys. And they didn't even tackle him or stop him or try to get in his way. You got to be kidding me. Like, dude, it's so fun to watch and it's so easy. It's only beginning too. This is only September. Remember, everything can change in October, and November is when we find out what you're made of.
Amen. Amen. He's the Rhino. Alex Boone. Yes. You can find him and Jeremiah Searles, another former Vikings offensive lineman, talking NFL, breaking down even more film on the O-Line Committee YouTube channel, Apple and Spotify. So, hey, great stuff. We'll do it again. Trenches on Purple Daily next week, man.
Can't wait.
By the way, I missed the Bengals lost to the Commanders. Is that what just happened?
They did. And I know this isn't a Bengals show, but I think it's time to start getting ready to like push that button just a tiny bit.
The panic button.
0-3, a little bit. Maybe Slim Shady in the backfield wasn't a good idea.
I don't know. Even Joey Burrow, man. I don't know if he can pull them out of this 0-3. So,
dude, the Slim Shady look ain't working. Let's go, Vikings.
Yeah, he's got to change that thing up for sure. But Vikings don't have that 0-3 problem. They've got the opposite record at 3-0 going into week 4. This has been Purple Daily Trenches with Alex Boone.